system. And this system we are going to build using a different framework known as Crew AI. So in case you have not heard about Crew AI, this is another framework that is gaining momentum in the world of agentic AI. And hence I am intentionally putting this in the course so that you are aware of this as well. Okay, we will go into the Python code, but before that, what is a multi-agent AI system? So in the previous lecture, you saw how we could build an agent that could do some web search and that could summarize and that could give us the result. But normally agents are built for practical purposes in a multi-agent scenario, which means in your project for your work, you will have more than one agent working. How to think about it? First of all, how to frame the problem statement or how to design the project in your mind. Let's spend some time and try to understand this with an example of being a project manager and trying to deliver a project. So suppose you are a project manager and you are given a task to deliver a project. Okay. So you may need some resources to do the job, right? For example, you may need a Python developer. So I will call here, you may need a Python developer who will write the codes for you. And you may also need a tester or a QA analyst. So I am writing one QA analyst. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to design a team for you, which will deliver the work for you. Okay. So one Python developer, one QA analyst, and let's say you will need a DevOps engineer as well, who will help you in deployment of code and production related stuff. So I'm saying one DevOps engineer as well. To deliver the job, you need these three people: one, two, and three. Now, let us think from an agentic AI point of view. Whatever work we need to do, or whatever the goal you have at hand, to achieve that goal, you might need one, two, or three or more agents. All these agents will be doing different tasks. Let's try to understand what is the meaning of different tasks. So the first thing that should come to your mind is, what is the role of all these agents? So in this case, in my project example, what the Python developer will do, Python developer will go ahead and write the Python code. That is the role of the Python developer. Similarly, your first agent will have some role, some defined role. If you come to QA analyst, the job of QA analyst is to do the testing, do the quality assurance and things like that. So your second engineer or the second person in your team will do the QA related job. If you think in terms of agentic AI, your second agent will do the QA related job, and so on and so forth for DevOps engineer and other people as well. You can think of all these different agents are given one role each. This is very important because normally we do not want one agent to do multiple things together. That's not a good practice. So one agent, one role. Fine. Now, the next very important thing here is, what is the goal or what is the delivery expected from all these agents? So what do you expect the Python guys to deliver? What do you expect the QA guys to deliver? What do you expect the DevOps guy to deliver? For example, here I can expect Python guy to deliver me codes, the QA guy to deliver me testing report, the DevOps guy to deliver me the deployed scripts, right? So in the agentic AI, what is that I would want my first agent to deliver? What is that I would want my second agent to deliver? What is that I would want my third agent to deliver? So what delivery you are looking for in all these guys, all these agents? That is second critical pillar of when you work with multi-agent systems. Okay. The third critical pillar of working with multi-agent system is, what is the context or with what background one agent will work. For example, if I take this QA analyst, right, the context or the background with which this QA analyst will work is the code written by the Python guy, right? So that's the background. That's where from it will start the work. So from agentic point of view, you have to think, when my first agent start working, with what background, with what context my agent will start working. When my second agent starts working, with what background, with what context it will start working. When my third agent starts working, with what context, with what background it will start working. And one thing that associates all these agents together, most critical, is known as collaboration. So you can deliver your project in a very nice way if there is a collaboration among the agents or your team members, right? So collaboration is a critical aspect of any multi-agent AI system. We are going to build an agent and see these things now. But before that, let me give you some hint on when I'm going to build a Crew AI multi-agent system, right? Then I'm going to define an agent. Okay. When I define an agent, I will be telling to agent, this is your role. Okay. This is what is delivery expected from you. Fine. And this is what is the background or backstory. So please keep in mind when I am defining my agent, I will tell to agent very clearly, this is your role, this is what I expect from you, and this is the backstory or background with which you have to start working. Now to understand this in more real world sense, let's take an example which I'm going to build in Python, but first let me tell you what this will do. So imagine I'm building a two agent system. So this is my first agent, okay, and this is my second agent. Fine. My first agent is basically a chef. Fine. My second agent is basically a nutritionist. Okay. So the job of both these agents together is to recommend some recipe to the diabetic patient. So I'm going to tell you how this will work. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to input a item, a ingredient. For example, I can say here chicken. Just an example I'm giving. So I will take chicken as an input and I will pass this to the chef. And the job of the chef is to recommend five different items that can be made using chicken. Okay, so five different recipes: one, two, three, four, and five. This is the job of my first agent. So role is very clear, chef. The job is very clear. Define or give five different recipes using chicken. And what I expect is very clear. From the second agent, what I will expect is from your knowledge of food, from your knowledge of calorie, from your knowledge of working with various kinds of patients, just analyze all these five foods or recipes and tell me what is the best recipe for a diabetic patient. Okay. So my complete flow is I will be giving a input. Input is basically an ingredient. My first agent will give me five recipes. My second agent will output me one final recipe which is good or best for the diabetic patients out of these five recipes. So let's go ahead and try to build in Python a notebook here. I'm going to name it first multi agent. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to import some packages that will help me to build it. And to start with, let's go ahead and as I was telling, we will be working with Crew AI as the tool this time. So we have to install some packages. First of all, I'm trying to install Crew AI, then Crew AI tools. I'm giving a specific version and then LangChain community as we may need this. So I have already installed this, so I'm not running it. So I have commented that. What we are going to do next is we are going to just suppress the warning because as you know, these packages keep changing, keep improving, the methods keep changing. So there is a possibility lot of warnings may come. Once we do that, what we are going to do is we are going to import the Creo AI library. So as you can see, I'm importing Creo AI. From Creo AI, I'm importing agent, task, and Creo. Okay, so these three things are important to build your agent here. So let's import these three things. One will be helpful in defining agent, other will be helpful in defining task, and third will be helpful in defining the actual Creo. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just import the libraries, just import the keys basically. So I'm importing my env file. So this env file will enable me to use OpenAI key. So just to let you know how to enable this, you can simply put your OpenAI key in a file called .env, place .env anywhere in your computer and import it using this. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to define which model I should be using for this purpose. So for example, I'm saying GPT 3.5 Turbo, or we can say GPT-4 as well. So let me say GPT-4 and we will go with this model. Now, as I was telling you, when we have to work with Creo AI, we need to keep in mind, or any multi-agent system, we need to keep in mind how many agents we want. So if you remember, we need two agents here, right? First agent, as we discussed, chef, and second agent, a doctor or a nutritionist who can suggest the food, right? So we need here two agents, right? And in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build my first agent now. So I'm going to say, when I define my agent, right, I have to very clearly say what is the role, what I want, and what is the background. So please pay attention here. I'm defining my first agent here. Okay, so if you see here, this is my agent. I'm using agent class here. I'm defining my first agent here, and I'm saying this agent, I'm naming it chef. I'm saying role is equal to chef. This is my goal. So as I told you, the goal should be very clear. This is the role of the name. The goal is give 5 different recipes using ingredients, and I will pass ingredients as a variable. Fine. Backstory is nothing but the background with which the agent will work. So what is the background? You are a chef who has experience on cooking delicious foods. Your experience lies in recommending some new foods to the customers. Please generate and give recipe of 5 different foods using these ingredients. Describe stepwise process, time to cook, other ingredients needed, and calorie count. Your recipe will be critically analyzed by a nutritionist who to recommend food for diabetes patients. Okay. So there may be some misspelling here and there. Don't worry about those things. LLM models are smart in understanding these things. That's fine. So this is just the context at very high level. Okay. And let me define this. And similarly, what I can do is I can just create my other agent as well. So what is the role of my other agent and what is the background? You can see here. So this is my another agent. The role is nutritionist, as I'm writing here. The goal is critically analyze the recipe given by chef using these ingredients. And then there is a background. You have good knowledge working with diabetic patients. There are recipe recommended by chef using these. Please critically analyze the recipe and suggest best food out of the given 5 foods for diabetic patients. Also give your reasons why you don't recommend other 4 recipes and choose this one. Okay, so I'm elaborating little more on this because this is the background with which these agents will work. Fine. Two agents defined. Once we define two agents, right, we can define some tasks or tools. So in this case, the concept here is we have to define some tasks here that will be run. So this is the first task that I'm defining. The name of the task is cook. Inside this task, right, I can define my tool as well. But in this case, just giving a description and desired output will do the job. And if you see agent is equal to chef, I'm saying. So this task cook gets linked to the chef agent here. And this is the description and this is the expected output. So if you see, write recipe of 5 different food using these ingredients. Expected output is 5 different recipes, stepwise guide to cook, list of all additional ingredients, the expected taste of the food. Everything I am given. And this is one of the tasks. Remember, previously we used tools. So I can give a tool inside a task, but here my task is not that complicated. So just the instruction will do the job. No need to give any additional tools. So cook is there. And then I'm going to add one more task here. This task is little elaborative, and the reason for that is here I am saying read the recipes provided by chef, critically analyze all recipe keeping in mind what should suit to diabetic patients, suggest one best food out of all 5, prove that other 4 recipe is not good for diabetic patient. Okay, so that is what the task is. What is the expected output? A well-written critical point-wise analysis of all 5 recipes, and the nutritionist is also analyzing and saying from the high level, I can give great. Now I have defined two agents. I have defined two tasks. What I need to do when you work with Crew AI is you need to create a crew. So what is a crew? Crew is basically the thing that runs. Okay. So crew is basically your crew of agents. Okay. So in this example, you can create a crew like this. This is a simple example. So I can call it crew aman, and I can say crew, and I can say agents is equal to chef and then nutritionist. Okay. This is my crew and task is cook and recommend. So these two are the task and these two are the agents. So crew aman is created. Once your crew aman is created, right, then you can simply run crew aman with some input. For example, I need to, how the flow will be, I need to pass on a base material through which the recommendation should happen. So in this case, my base material is, for example, spinach. Okay. So what should happen? There should be 5 recommendations coming from the chef and one final recommendation coming from the nutritionist based on diabetic patients. What should they eat? Fine. So let's go ahead and try to see. It will be very interesting to see how these two agents talk to each other and derive to the result. So let's see here. Task 1, write different recipe using these ingredients. So what is being called, if you see here, write recipe of 5 ingredients. This task is getting called. So as a chef, I have good understanding of how to prepare task and how to use. I will need assistance in determining the calorie count of each dish and ensuring they are suitable for people with diabetes. This will involve calculating the nutritional value as well as understanding. For this, I will need to work closely with the nutrient. This is the magic of AI agents. Okay. So this agent, the first agent, right? It is it is understanding that it needs to take help of some other agent. So if you see here, delegate work to coworker. So in the first go only, in the step 0 only, it is delegating the work to the coworker. Coworker means the other agent. Okay. So if you see here, action input, calculate the calorie count of each dish and ensure. Now I need to know people with diabetes. I am chef preparing 5 different dishes on this. I need to know the calorie count of each dish and whether suitable. So it's giving a description and it is asking the other agent for some suggestion. Okay. Now the other agent so says, as the information regarding the 5 different is not available, I am unable to provide critical analysis. Okay, and recommend the best one. Please provide necessary details as such ingredients, preparation methods, right? And then the other agent says, I apologize, but without the specific details of 5 recipes, I cannot analyze their nutritional value. This is coming from the nutritionist. Okay. Then the thought, you see how that thought comes. So here it's saying, this is the thought. They need, I need to provide the more details. Okay. And if you see here, my previous action was incorrect. I am a chef, need to create the recipes myself. Okay. You see how the errors is getting corrected. I will start by creating 5 different recipes. Then I will ask the nutritionist to analyze their nutrition value and suitability. I have created the 5 spinach based recipes. So it has given 5 recipes now. First, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Okay. Now delegate work to coworker. What? Calculate the calorie count. I have provided the ingredients and preparation process. So it has done the job. Now it will go to the nutritionist. Now I have created the following. Okay. Thought, the error, the delegate coworker does not exist. These are only, so there are some error in between. So maybe it is trying to call with some action which is not permissible. Okay, that's fine. These agents will, uh, these are fault tolerant. So what will happen is it will again try to call the agent with some other input. Okay, the error note suggests that I have not used the correct format for delegation work. I need to provide the specific details of 5 spinach details. Okay, and now what it is doing, I tomato spinach salad, and it is again trying to call the coworker. Okay, here the format is changed a little bit and then it goes to the nutritionist. After analyzing, the non-nutritionist is analyzing. Okay, and it is saying can be high in cholesterol due to X, and it depends on preparation. So all the 5 things it is analyzing one by one, and then the nutritionist is saying spinach salad stands as the best option. Okay, and in the final, when the entire chain finishes, right, you will see one final recipe. The complete recipe has started coming now, if you see. Okay, so multiple collaboration is happening between these two guys. And in the end, if you see, among these recipes, I recommend the spinach salad as the best recipe. It is low in carbohydrate, high in fiber, blah blah blah. And people with diabetes, please note that it is always crucial to consult with healthcare professional or dietitian while making significant dietary changes, especially for individuals with chronic condition like diabetes. So what is happening in this entire flow, if you see, right? First of all, my first agent started giving some blank things to the coworker, which did not work. Then my agent, refined its input and gave it, which worked. Then my agent gave in wrong format. Then some issue came. Then it corrected the format. Then it went to nutritionist. Okay. And then after multiple round of collaboration with these two guys, right? In the end, you are able to get a recommendation out of the 5 foods. And this is the recommendation. Now this multi-agent system, right, can be used for any other items, any other food. Okay. For example, chicken, right? Write recipes for 5 different foods using ingredients chicken. And what we bother about, when the entire chain finishes, right? In the end, I should get a food which is good for the diabetic patients, and which is kind of chicken is the main ingredients of that. So in this time, if you see here, right, the first agent in the beginning only it is giving some hint: grilled chicken salad with some dressing, lemon herb roasted chicken. So in the beginning only it started giving some hint. Okay. And the nutritionist is also analyzing and saying from the high level, I can give grilled chicken salad with this dressing, here is why. And then some more information on cooking, some more information on calorie count, etc., will come later. So if you see here, the analysis is going on, but in the end, that one food that got selected will come, and the preparation method and the calorie count and everything will come in the end. Okay. So what is happening here is two agents are talking to each other, and we have given very clear goal to both the agents. We have given very clear backstory to both the agents. We have given very clear what is the expectation from you. So from this example, what I thought to cover is how these two agents are working to strengthen our understanding of multi-agent system and try to build a customer service multi-agent system in this video. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to build a customer service multi-agent system. I'll call it MAS. What this system will do is it will take a customer's query, this question basically, and there will be two agents which will be responding to that. So basically there will be one first level and there will be one second level agent. So let's try to put some code here and I'll explain you how this entire system will work. So first of all, let's go ahead and try to suppress the warning, because otherwise we may get some package related or these kind of warnings. Then I'm just going to put what installation of packages you should have if you want to run this, but I'm not going to run this because I already have the compatible environment here. So Crew AI 0.28.8, AI Tools 0.1.6, and LangChain Community 0.0.29. And what we are going to do is, obviously, we are going to load my OpenAI key, which I'll be using. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to import as usual from Crew AI agent, tasks, and crew. Up to here is similar to what we have done in the past. Now let me define my first agent here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to define my first agent. But before that, I want to make it very clear. One question that many people have in their mind is how many agents you should have in your basically multi-agent system. So always remember, agents help you to do the job, but it also adds the complexity to your system. So typically, normally, you will not have more than 2 to 10 agents in a small scale application or kind of applications that we build for our projects or companies, right? Until or unless you are doing something of very large scale or some robotics or something in very large scale AI applications, right? You will have your number of agents less than 10. And remember always, what your agents do has to be very, very specific. For example, here I am defining my first agent. Okay. If you see here, my customer assist agent is my first agent. This is my level 1 agent. So as I told you, I will have two levels of agents. So this is my level 1 agent. What my level 1 agent will do is, if you pay attention here, I am saying you are customer care specialist role. Your goal is to deliver the most courteous and effective customer support to your team. Okay. And some backstory so that it will help the agent to work better. You are a valued team member at Creo AI. So I have given the documentation link of Creo AI. and currently assigned to assist customer, which will come as the variable. For the company, your mission is to ensure highest quality of support, provided details and thorough responses, avoiding any assumptions. So you can think this as an agent which serves to the customer's queries. Okay, and then some basic things like verbose and allow delegation, etc. This is my first agent, first level agent. Okay, and then what I'm going to define is one more agent, which will be a supervisor for this agent. So when I say supervisor, the job of the supervisor is to check the quality of response by the first agent. Okay, so I'm saying define second agent, and I will say level 2. And if you pay attention here, I am saying quality check agent. And the agent is support quality analyst. Be recognized for ensuring the highest standard of support quality in your team. So you can think level 2 is the manager of level 1. What is the job of level 2? You are a key contributor at QAI. Work alongside with your team to review a support request from customers. Your responsibility is to ensure that customer care specialist. So you know who is the customer care specialist. Okay. Customer care specialist delivers top-notch service. It's your duty to perform all responses are thorough, accurate, and free of assumptions. So basically, what I'm expecting here is whatever agent 1 does, it should be reviewed by agent 2. You can think of level 1 response and curated response. So let me go ahead and define my quality check agent as well. Now, one very important thing to understand here is anytime you are building a multi-agent system or MAS, your agent works mostly will not overlap from each other. Okay. So for example, this agent will generate response, this agent will review response. So it's basically two separate pieces of work, and the role, goal, and backstory, etc., will be related to that. So you have to pay attention on what is the role both the agents playing, what is the focus of both the agents. Okay, by defining the backstory, etc. What is the goal, and how these two agents cooperate with each other. So suppose tomorrow you build four agents, right? How these four agents will cooperate with each other, that is what you need to take care in your backstory or in your description, in your goal, etc. So currently we have two agents, and I want to ask a question and I want the response to come. But before that, what I should do is I should basically give some tools which will help me to scrap the content of the website basically. So there is a tool called scrap website tool. I have imported website search and serpent dev tool as well, but I'll mostly use scrap website tool. Okay. And what my scrap website tool will do is it will simply go to the uh, LangChain documentation. As you can see here, LangChain CrewAI documentation, I'm sorry. It will go to CrewAI documentation and it will fetch the, basically, it will import the data or it will scrap the website. So I have two agents here. I have one tool. So I will give this tool to only one agent, not to both the agents. Okay. So for that, I have to define few parameters here. If you pay attention here, customer query task is one task that I am creating. Okay. And the description of the task is customer has submitted a critical request, initiated the inquiry, leverage all available resources to deliver outstanding support. Your goal is to provide a thorough and accurate information. So I'm defining a task basically, customer query task. Okay. This is the description of my task and what is the expected output that I'm expecting from the task. So, a comprehensive and well-researched response to customer inquiry that addresses every aspect of their concern. The response must reference all the tools, including external materials, ensure that answer is exhaustive and maintains a professional, approachable tone. And the tools I'm giving, if you see here, is doc script tool. Remember, you don't use more tools if you don't need it. You don't use more agents if you don't need it. You don't use anything extra because everything is a computation overhead. Everything is a coordination overhead, communication overhead. So you don't use anything extra and you be more thorough with what do you expect, what is the description, what is the role, what is the prompt, what is the backstory. These are the backbones of your agentic system. Okay. And every time you add a new tool, every time you add a new agent, you are adding overhead. So just be careful when you are adding a new tool. New one task I have defined. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to define one more task, response review. But this time I will not associate this task with any of the tools because it's not needed. Okay. So as you can see, this is the response review task. And here what I'm doing, evaluate the response prepared by customer care specialist. Okay. and ensure the reply meets highest standards of accuracy, confirm every aspect in a friendly and approachable manner, verify the inclusion of appropriate resources, etc. Expected output, a polished, detailed, ready to send response. Customer's inquiry, the customer should reflect all necessary feedback and adjustments, maintaining a relaxed yet professional tone. So I'm very clearly saying what is the job of this response review task, what should happen, and what is the agent, quality check agent. So if you see, my quality check agent is this agent. So I have now two tasks, but if you pay attention, there is no tool in the second agent because I don't need it. So if you don't need it, you don't put it. So no tools in the second task. And now as usual, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply define my tools and task in my crew. So if you can see here, crew is equal to crew, customer assist agent. So I will just say crew, customer service multi-agent system. Okay. So Creo customer service multi-agent system is equal to Creo agent, customer assist agent, quality check agent, customer query task, response review task. So response review task, customer query task, all look good. And I'm going to say enter, control enter. And then I'm going to ask my question and I'm going to say Creo kickoff. So what will be my question? So let me give you customer, I'm saying unfold data science. Person, I'm saying Aman Kumar, which is my name. And inquiry, I'm saying I need help with Crew AI and understanding about Crew and agent. How to use Crew and agent in Crew AI? Can you provide guidance? This is my query. Okay. So what should happen when I kick off my Crew basically? What should happen is, first of all, one response should be prepared from my first agent, and that should be reviewed for quality, and then a final response should be prepared. But it's always very interesting to see how these systems work. Okay, so let's see how these systems work. So Aman Kumar from Unfold Data Science initiated the query, leverage all available resources, whatever we told. Okay. Then it is showing the client Aman Kumar from Unfold Data Science requires assistance on how to utilize Crew and Agent in Crew AI. To provide accurate and comprehensive guidance, I need to ask, look into Crew AI documentation. So it is thinking, it is calling an action, read website URL, action input. So action input is this URL that I provided. And then as you can see, it is scrapping the website of Creo AI. So this is the page basically I'm giving reference to. Okay, so docs.qai.introduction. And what it is doing, it is fetching all the information. And then I now have the detailed information Creo and agent. I will now craft a comprehensive response. Fine. Thank you for reaching a Creo AI is a cutting edge framework, a Creo in Creo AI. So it is talking about my particular answer. Okay. AI agents are specialized in, so both the things it is giving me. And here is how it looks. Fine, notably. So it finds the answer. Best regards, Aman. So this is the first finished chain. So customer care specialist has done the job. Now what should happen is it should be basically reviewed by the other agent. Okay, so working agent, support quality analyst, starting task, evaluate the response prepared by customer care specialist at Unfold Data Science inquiry, blah blah blah. So the response is well detailed and informative. Delegate work to coworker, revise the response based on the inquiry. So basically these two agents are talking. And then if you can see, the final answer looks properly like an email. Dear Unfold Data Science team, this is this installation guide, crew, some links. So obviously all the links are not here, but the idea is to get an understanding of how these two agents are talking and working together. Okay, so if you see, this is my final response coming, finished chain. Thank you for reaching out to QAI. We understand. To explain in simple terms, it is talking about QAI installation guide. Here are the links. So it is not able to give the link, but let's ignore that for now. It is not a very sophisticated kind of scrapping. The installation guide provides step-by-step QAI and then getting started with QAI. We hope these resources will be helpful. So it is giving me all the information that I have asked. Okay. So this is how these two agents, right? These two agents are working together and giving me the response. And if you can see in multi-agent system, right, the key is how your two agents is talking to each other, how your two agents are able to achieve a goal together. And for that to happen, what you should do is you should be very thorough with what you want, what is the role, what is the goal, what is that your tasks should do, what is the response your task should get. Okay, and how these two agents should talk to each other and reach to the final answer. Okay, so with these two examples I tried to give you a a holistic view of multi-agent system. But remember, you don't define any extra agent that you don't need. You don't define any extra tools that you don't need, because everything is an overhead. And you keep the functionalities of your agents and tools separate, which means you try not to intersect their roles. Okay, so everything will have a particular role, particular job, and that is what they will do. Like I was giving example in manager and a team scenario. Okay, so now it's high time we move to the next section and we see